Well, hey, you guys, have you ever been tempted just not to take investing so seriously? Okay, listen, go with me for a second. Most of us can recognize that saving for retirement is very important, but if you're anything like me, investing 15% month after month, year after year, decade after decade can start to feel a little redundant. And I was just talking about this on Smart Money Happy Hour the other day because I was like, well, what if I just took a year off? Would it be that big of a deal? Come on. We're doing fine. Okay, because here's the thing, is that you won't fully experience, though, the benefits of investing till later in life. And so sometimes it feels like you're just throwing your money into a black hole and you're never going to see it again. But deep down, of course, we know we got to stay on track, okay? The consistency is what is really key when it comes to investing. And investing in retirement is the ultimate example of delayed gratification. But it is hard to commit to anything if you don't know the why behind it. So today we're going to talk about 3 reasons why you should stay on the investment roller coaster ride. Because investing is like this. It is up and down, but you stay on that ride. So there was a guy that called into the Ramsey show and he was asking if he could cash out his Roth IRA to pay off his loans. And his argument is that he wouldn't be taxed or penalized. And because of that, it felt like a reasonable thing to do, to get yourself out of debt. And honestly, I get the urge to want to pay off debt as quickly as possible because you don't want to live in this chaos and stress anymore. You really want to handle it immediately. But it's so important to understand that the money that you set aside for retirement will only reach its maximum potential for growth if you leave it untouched. And listen, I love to lean into the gray areas of life, but this one is kind of a black and white issue. You should never dip into retirement savings early, and there's really 3 main reasons for this. Before I explain that, I want to tell you about a faith-based alternative to health insurance that can make healthcare more affordable, and that's Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM allows members to share each other's healthcare costs, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, choose the healthcare provider that you want. Step 2, submit your eligible bills. And Step 3, get reimbursed. CHM members take care of your eligible medical bills. And with no networks and the freedom to choose your healthcare provider, CHM is the best option for Christians who want to take care of their families and help other believers. So find out more at chministries.org/budget. All right, the first reason that you should never get off the investing roller coaster is because no one can predict the trajectory of the market. So don't let your amateur investor bros on the internet convince you to play the game. You can hack the system and time the market. You're not supposed to constantly be checking every little movement of the market and pivot because of it. Most of investing, you guys, majority of it is for a long period of time. So don't go and watch the news and just see, oh my gosh, well, today it's this, tomorrow it's that. Oh my gosh, what are this, that? No, investing is for the long term. Slow and steady wins the race. Think about a crock pot versus a microwave. And the earlier you start this and the more consistent you are, the better off you're going to be. So don't let tiny trends or, growth or loss day to day throw you off, okay? Just trust the process and recognize that your investments need time to develop and grow. So whether you've had a 401k for years or you're a total beginner, one of the best tricks that I think is important when it comes to investing is working with a professional. So I will leave a link for you to connect with a pro so that you can really have peace of mind when it comes to all these details. So write it out. Now, I will say if you sit down with your financial advisor and they're like, hey, this one fund over the last 5 years, it's not really doing great, but these over here, and maybe you change your strategy within it, which is fine, and that's great to do. But don't let just that day-to-day, of what the market's doing, throw you off, and don't jump off the roller coaster. Stay on. All right, the second reason to stay on the investment roller coaster is to avoid unnecessary taxes and penalties. So first of all, investments aren't there to replace your everyday savings. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. But second, taking your money from your investments specifically, whether it's a Roth or a 401k, specifically for retirement, will result in taxes and fees and penalties. So for example, if you draw money from your 401k too early, there's a 10% penalty plus the taxes on whatever that you've taken out. And the IRS usually withholds 20% automatically. Now with a traditional IRA, if you withdraw that money before you're 59 and a half, you get another 10% penalty plus federal and state income tax on the amount that you've taken out. And just know, you guys, taking money out of things like a Roth IRA or a 401k, you are unplugging compound interest, which is not good. Okay, we do not want that. Now, if you need money, this is why you need an emergency fund. This is where you have cash available to you sitting in a high-yield savings account, okay? You want 3 to 6 months of expenses, so when something comes up, you don't have to go and dip into your investments or your retirement, which again is going to take you off the train. You have cash to be able to do that. And again, you want to be able to stay on that investment train as long as possible. So that is why having money in an emergency fund is so key. All right, the third reason to stay on the investment roller coaster is compound interest. So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but you guys, this is the most powerful way mathematically to build wealth. Compound interest just means that your earnings compound over time. So let's run some numbers with the Ramsey investment calculator, shall we? Let's say you start investing $200 a month when you graduate college at 22 and you retire at 65. With an annual return of 10%, you would have over $1.7 million in investments, even though you only contributed about $100,000 of your own money in those 43 years. That's $1.6 million of free money, you guys. I mean, it's crazy. So what happens is you put your money in, so your $200, you make 10% on that. Well, the next year, you put $200 more in, and you're not making interest on just what you put in. You're going to make it on the interest that you got the year before as well. So what happens, again, that compounding is what is so key. Or maybe you started a little bit later, and so now you're contributing a higher amount every month. So let's say that you invested $800 a month starting from age 30 and all the way to 65. You're going to have over $3 million in those accounts. And that means you only put in $336,000. I mean, it's crazy, you guys. The momentum is insane. And you basically, if you get off that investment roller coaster, you interrupt that flow and that growth by cashing out money early. So don't stay in. Play the long game. And just picture of like, oh my gosh, you're going to be so bougie at retirement and it's going to be great because you're going to have money to live that bougie lifestyle, which is wonderful. And investing really is a proof that slow and steady wins the race. And the earlier you can start, the better off you're going to be. I am a fan of investing. Do it, you guys. It is like one of the best things that you can do with your money. Let your interest work for you. So make sure to check out my episode all about investing for total beginners. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.